I already miss Scrapple. This is Corey, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. It is 10:51 Pacific. That makes it 1:51. No, 12:51.
Yeah.
1:51 Eastern. And that's in the AM. And you're listening to the Anthem podcast. This is episode 165. And we are coming to you, as always, from high atop the 110 Freeway in still beautiful at night. Yeah. Downtown Los Angeles.
Even though we're getting the May grays / June gloom, it's still
today was not a good day. It wasn't very bright.
Still beautiful.
And no matter what you say, still more beautiful than Maryland. Sorry, Maryland. That's just how it works. And I mean, you would be in a much better position to say that than I am, because last time I left Maryland, it was freezing and snowing, and I haven't been back since.
Well, I just got back today. And other than today where it was raining, another thing, difference between California and Maryland, the Maryland rain was apocalyptic. It was a torrential downpour. The streets were flooding. It was nonsense. The heaviest rain I feel like I've seen in Southern California is like
a smattering.
Yeah, like you might have to put your windshield wiper off of like the intermittent to the
low setting
to the slow.
Right. And meanwhile, as soon as that first drop hits the windshield, brake lights, everybody's putting on their hazards. I don't know what I'm doing. Meanwhile, there's some guy out on Dundalk Avenue, fording it in a Geo Metro. He's like, we got it. It'll be all right. We got it.
As long as I don't get the battery wet, I'm okay.
So for those of you who haven't been following along, the easiest way that you can do that is to go to at @OTheAnthem, at LegendCB5, and at Robert and Chico on Twitter, Instagram, all over the place, so you can follow along with our day-to-day lives. That way you don't have to wait till the update every Tuesday. But how was Maryland?
It was exactly the way it was when I left. Well, let me say, not
Some
exactly.
Things never change.
It was mostly the same. And I'd like to say for the record that I thoroughly enjoy coming back because I like spending time with all my people. I like going home and seeing the things I'm familiar with. Rob is so bored he's sleeping.
Sorry, wait, what?
That's good. That's just good pod.
Yeah, no, that's good. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Saw a lot of family, saw a lot of friends. Saw the Orioles at Camden Yards, which is always important.
Right, yes.
But it's one of those things that's interesting. If something changes here in LA, I don't really give it two thoughts because things are always changing.
Yeah.
One little thing is different in Maryland, and it's like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
So I go down to Fells Point late last night, and they have ripped up the square.
Okay.
The Broadway square. Where I get my pretzels.
Yeah.
That stand
late
is
night
gone.
Drunken pretzels.
That stand is gone.
Yeah.
And everything in that area has been ripped up and probably going to be replaced with something else. The McKeldin Square statue fountain thing, all gone.
Yeah. And back in Fells Point, the building that was the police headquarters in homicide is on its way to being whatever it's going to be.
Well, I think it's already open. It's already, I mean, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I think they did a very nice job of converting it into a new space.
Yeah.
Certainly better than having it sit there vacant.
As it has for the last... When did homicide go off here?
It was vacant before that.
That's true.
They just happened to use it as an exterior. And I would say if the quality of the build is anything to look at, then I think that Port Covington might be very nice. Even though disastrous for the long-term ramifications of the city. But
right, yeah. The $500 million giveaway, not good. But it looks good.
I would say generally, though, just looking around, Baltimore has seemed to step up a little bit. It's trying to polish itself off a little bit.
Okay.
New water taxis, and there seems to be more stores opening that sort of have that, city soap feel to them.
Oh, God. Yeah.
But, for the most part, it's all the same.
Listen, I'm not opening a store. This is a pop-up. It's only going to be here temporarily. What I'm hoping is to get enough interest that I can get some kind of studio space. And continue.
What we're going to do is artisanal tea.
We take each individual tea leaf and we just give it a little smack. Just a little smack. And it really brings
and
out
then
the flavor.
and then we ask the customer if they want to snack it. It's like release the flavor. Do you want to release the flavors a little bit? If you want more flavors to be released, you can give me a little.
So what you're telling me is that Baltimore is trying to be Los Angeles. That's what's happening.
No.
Is everyone allergic to gluten? Do you have to like drive? Do you have to go down?
No,
to
none of that's changed.
Deli Road to get a bagel.
I still feel the things that'll never change about Maryland is like the people who I'm thoroughly convinced all the middle-aged people in Maryland are just being replaced by like new actors playing the same roles.
Yeah,
it's not like people are getting old and becoming those people. I just feel like the middle-aged like. Oh, hon, it's so bad at it. It's going to be so humid this summer. I can't even. Is like...
Oh, God.
Like, these are people who the state pays to just be there and make us feel reassured.
The problem is you got to stop hanging out in Dundalk.
Yeah.
There's nothing good in Dundalk. How many times do I have to say it?
I've also... If I wasn't sure before... if I wasn't sure before...
Yeah.
I can tell you unequivocally now... I will never not live in a city.
Okay.
Like, for the rest of my life. I don't care. I step outside into Edgemere and the quiet and the like, just the nothingness that's happening around me. I'm just like, I can't do this. If I was here for more than 3 days, I think I'd go crazy.
And now
But if I lived somewhere like, like Montana.
Yeah.
Where like Bozeman is my
the big city.
The big city. Nope.
I'm going to call it now. I give Corey 2 years.
I'm going to invest in a gun to shoot myself with.
I give Corey 2 years before he's got a nice little 2-bedroom right off Dundalk Avenue.
Nope.
Where he and the wife can raise the kids. And because I can tell you this, if you move back to Maryland, I can tell you where you're moving. It ain't downtown.
Nope.
I like how you think you're in control of this.
No.
You don't get to make that decision.
I put my foot down on these types of things. That is not happening. I'm not.
It's so cute.
I like my mom. Like sort of like I was talking to her about it. I was like, I've decided I can't never not live in the city.
Yeah.
And she like sort of looks at me and she's just like, yeah. And I'm like, but you lived in the suburbs the last 40 years. I was like,
why did she move to the suburbs?
Kids.
Huh. Funny how that works.
Well, hopefully by then I'll have all this rich movie maker money and I'll be putting them into some private school. Don't have to worry about where I live because I can just send them to school wherever.
I will say that
I can helicopter them into St. Paul's or something like that.
Here, hon, you're gonna take the helicopter. Here, hon, you're gonna take the helicopter down to your bus stop. All right.
When Rachel turns 40, it just comes in thick. She's like, "Oh, hon, can you pick me up some burger cookies from Royal Farms while you're out?"
I really just thought you were doing an impression of Rachel the whole time. Is that not her? I didn't realize.
By the way, it's been a while since I've had a good Rachel Queen of Dundalk story.
Yes.
But this is a good one. I stopped in at the Royal Farm in Edgemere.
Okay.
If you're trying to figure out which one it is, it's the one right next to the Wawa.
Because there's more than one.
I've been there, to my knowledge, once.
Okay.
And that one time I was there, it wasn't any big to do. I went in, bought a pack of cigarettes, maybe a Red Bull, something like that, maybe got gas, and just rolled out. But I didn't like flip over like anything. Like people wouldn't know my name or who I am, you know?
Yeah.
Wasn't anything distinguishing about this visit. I walk in, I go to buy chicken, go to the front to pay for it. The woman behind the register goes like, "Rachel ain't with you?"
Oh, that's good.
And I'm like, "What?" And it's like you're in town. Is Rachel in town? It's just like,
who the fuck are you?
In my head, I'm like, how do you know who I am? Like, are you following me on the podcast?
It's like, wait, are you a podcast fan?
Yeah, are you a podcast listener?
I'm very happy about that. Nope.
I just happen to know Rachel. And then go back, name change to protect identity. And I say, I was at Royal Farm and Pamela asked if you were here. And she's just like, oh, yeah, I know her. It's like, how do you know her? It's like, well, and then we start going into the 18 degrees of separation where it's like, she is the mother of the guy who used to date Becky before Becky and Tom got together And Tom is my third uncle, twice removed on my mother's side through marriage. And I'm just like...
All I hear is this. All I hear is just a queen who really loves her subjects. There will be no uprising.
Knows the exact relations of everybody. It's like the man about town who's always glad handing. It's just like, Tom, how the hell are you? How's the wife? How's little Billy? Like, it knows all the... How do you know me? How do you remember all my things?
I do love that Rachel heard us talking about her, and now she's joined us. she's watching live. Hey, Rachel, how's it going? But yeah, so one thing I'm glad that you went. You brought back one thing that I'm very happy about. I'm going to splurge and have a burger cookie. Because because you got to, because it's a burger cookie.
When are you going to have it again?
I know. And one thing I'm happy that you didn't bring home, though, is the mop that you left LA with a few days ago. What happened?
I decided that I looked online prior to leaving for a place to get my hair cut.
Did you go to FX?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Why even look? Go to FX.
Before
FX Studios. No. That's the place to get your hair cut if you're in Lutherville, Timonium. FX
Hunt
Studios. Hunt Valley. Off of...
Pepper Road.
Pepper Road in Hunt Valley.
Money, please. Free haircuts.
Yeah, all the free haircuts we can have. That's great. It's every $600 haircut.
Yeah. 2 times a year, I'll come and by and get my free haircut.
Well, that's as often as you get it cut anyway. So it's like, okay, it's on a regular schedule. Fine.
I was looking around places in LA to get my hair cut.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah.
I could have gone to like a haircuttery or a Floyd's or something like that, but I didn't really want to. I like, because I don't get my haircut cut that frequently, I like to do the slightly better haircut.
Right. I do the experience $15 haircut. Yeah. I get it cut. If I could, every 3 weeks, I'd get it cut.
Right.
But I can't,
because I get it cut every 6 months.
Right.
If my total haircut budget for the year is $100, then it doesn't sound so bad.
Right. I mean, you and I may spend the same amount on haircuts in a year.
Right.
I just get them far more frequently and at a much cheaper place.
Yeah, and I like to get like the scalp massage and the hot towel treatment and everything like that.
And did you
and watch a movie while I'm like...
Did you get the... that's right, because they have the little private booths with the movie. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I forgot how much I love FX Studios. Sports Clips is great because they have the game on or whatever, and, like, the women feign interest in the sport that you're watching. Like, right. They'll switch it to whatever you want to watch, and they're like, oh, yeah, how about those Golden State Warriors? Oh, I'm from Baltimore. Oh, how about the Knicks? I guess. Bullets? I feel...
Phillies? Phillies?
But, I mean, like, they are... They're nice, but I forgot that FX does the movies on the screen in the chair.
And more than that, from my many years of haircuts there, they have very elaborate notes to what I like, and they have like the picture of my head, and like he likes it cut a little bit more in here.
It's crazy. And they take as long as it takes. There's no feeling like you're like pulling anybody up.
And I don't know where that place is in LA yet. I'm sure I will find it, but everything I was looking at prior to leaving was all the like, we take ancient blades made from Mongolian princes and dip it in acidic acid and then take it off, like, or clean it, but it still has a small little tingle every time we cut your hair.
I use an axe, that haircut and I just chop at your hair using a hand axe.
Your haircut will cost $365.
Seems like a bargain.
Yeah, and I'm just like, none of this. I'm not. I need to know the place. Like, I'm good with FX, so I was in town. I might as well have gotten it done.
And FX for me is
and then I can stop by Nelson's and just say hey to everybody and see what's up.
And how much has Nelson's changed since you left?
Very little.
Yeah.
The drive-thru is open until 10 o'clock now on Fridays and Saturdays.
It's a revolution.
They got a new van.
Oh no! Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll never get to drive this one.
Oh, maybe I will. Just come by and just be like, hey, can I borrow the van?
Can I take it out for a spin?
I'd like to take the van for a walk.
But yeah, I can, even when I was going to FX, like I hated going to FX because I can't justify spending that much on a haircut. Like I really want to be the guy who's got like, $1 billion in the bank and he's like going to haircuttery. Yeah, I'm going to pay $300 for a haircut, but that's because I'm going to pay $15 and I'm going to tip $285 to the girl who's like, yeah, just,
trying to take care of my single son.
Right? Trying to get into school. I'm like, sweetheart, I'm about to make you a millionaire. What are you doing after this?
Make you a millionaire.
If you got $1 billion, I mean, that's $990 million.
That's the way to get good.
Get a good haircut? Or?
I have $1 billion. I'm just gonna give $1 million of it to this gal. Why not?
Ben Affleck tips a girl $5,000 at a casino, and he gets all that acclaim. Imagine if you were like, you're a single mom trying to work your way through school so you can make a better life for you and your child. You just got yourself a scholarship. Boom. $1 million. Pay for school in a trust. Pay for school. You don't have to work all the way through school. We're going to put that kid in a private school. We're going to take care of you. And if you want to come and show me a little thanks for that, well, that's, wait till the papers leave, sweetheart.
Anywho, Maryland was fine. I enjoyed coming home. I really miss Camden Yards. Larry is still there.
That was the happiest news.
Still with the same old jokes. They're like, I'm watching you.
Yeah.
It's like, like to all the girls, like, is he causing trouble? Do I need to kick him out?
I didn't ever see him use that on anyone else. Would it make you feel bad if you found out that he that's his thing?
That's what he does to everybody.
Yeah. He never did it to me. He always did it to you.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm watching you. And you're like, this guy's the one who's a troublemaker.
He did it to you before.
Now, only when you said, this guy's the one causing trouble. He's like, all right, I got my eyes on both of you then. But it was always you.
I like to think that maybe he does something like it to other people.
Right.
But the specifics, the little tiny details of it are us.
That's your guy. You got
because also when I walked in and saw him standing at the top of the section.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Larry, how are you? And he looked at me and he had that I don't know what your name is, but I know who you are.
Hey!
He's like, what are you doing here?
I haven't seen you all season. Yeah.
It's like the guy at Real Thing.
Yes.
I could not be there for 8 years, and I walk in, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, how have you been?"
Well, to be fair, I mean, you put his kids through college, so he really should remember your face after all of that, all the money that you've given.
Yeah,
him,
the many cheesesteaks.
Yes.
I have cheesesteak equity in this place.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm glad Maryland was a good trip home. I would prefer never to go back. So, we'll see.
I still want to be bi-coastal. That's my only baller dream. It's not to win an Oscar. It's not to...
Just to be bi. I understand it. Yep. I could have predicted that many years ago when I met you. So, you said bi-coastal.
Yeah.
Bi-coastal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a different kind of bi-coastal. We have a lot of news that we need to talk about on the other side of the Atlantic.
Yes.
Which is also, by the way, a coast. Flat earthers. Anyway, so
are they assuming that the Earth ends somewhere in the Atlantic?
I don't really. No, it's all a circle around the North Pole. The North Pole is the middle of the world, and then there's a big ice wall that goes around the south. And it's not actually a continent; it's an ice wall.
See, I always figured flat earthers were just looking at the Mercator projection,
essentially,
and going this is what it is.
No, it's a polar.
If you start boating off Hawaii, you're just gonna fall off the edge.
They use a polar projection map, and they're like, look, when a plane flies from New York to Paris, it doesn't go across the ocean; it goes the ocean. Just imagine it from Doug. It goes up and over into Greenland, and I'm like, yeah, because that's a shorter distance on a globe. It's shorter to go over the top than it is to go around the edge.
Yeah,
but no, because it's flat and that's the straight line. I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense. And the big ice wall that holds in all the ocean at the bottom of the world,
right
at the edge of the world. Yeah.
Well, thank God that'll never melt.
Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do in 100 years when there's no ice on Antarctica. It's just a rocky con. They're like, It's still there. It's still the wall. You don't even know. It's the wall.
Yeah, all our coastal cities have flooded because there's no ice in the caps anymore. But we still have the ice wall.
Just holding it up. It's fine. Totally fine.
How come nobody's seen this ice wall?
No, you can go see
The
it.
mainstream media is just hiding it from you.
You can go see it because if you go up in a boat, the glaciers coming off the continent are really tall and it looks like a wall.
Oh.
But we have these things called aeroplanes now, and when you go up above it, you see that like, oh, no, not a wall. It's a big flat piece.
Yeah.
And if you keep going, you hit ocean on the other side.
Right. Ocean.
Not the edge of it. Not the
I like how I'm bringing out your Balmorese just by doing the accent twice. Now the rest of the time you're just gonna be like
ocean. Gone down the ocean. Huh?
The Paris climate thing is good for the ocean.
Well, anyway, so speaking of news from the other side of the ocean. Ocean. When we recorded last week, we recorded on Saturday afternoon. And then shortly thereafter, London unfortunately suffered another terrorist attack. Their third attack in 3 months.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Manchester is not London.
Okay, England.
England has suffered its third. I've been hearing this a lot.
Wait. London has had 3. Manchester was separate from that. That would be a 4th in England. There have been 3 in London.
What other
in
2
the
am
last
I
3
missing?
months. There was the guy in the truck who also ran people down, but minus the stabbing.
Mm-hmm.
That was also on London Bridge. That was the guy who ran people over and then they got chased. And then the one 2 months ago was a bombing.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
It's 3 in London plus Manchester.
Right.
Again.
I'm just
Who are you going to believe? Me or your
all
senator? All right? That's all I'm saying. Case closed. But yes. 3 attacks.
Take that, Connecticut.
But I just enjoy that American media is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you only listen to, exclude not even just only Fox News or only CNN or only MSNBC. If you just listen to American media, you would have thought the city of London was burning down.
Yeah.
But no, not so much. People were walking away from the attacker with beers in their hands.
Yeah.
This guy, he's not going to fuck up my good time. I got this. Well, And the next morning, they were just like, yeah, no, I'm going about my day. This is what I do. Which has led me to the conclusion of 2 things. One, America, we need to listen to more international news. BBC is fantastic, not just for the UK, but for world news. Al Jazeera, also great for world news. And there's one more.
Agence France?
No, Reuters.
Yeah.
Reuters, but the international wing of Reuters, not the all local news. So,
yeah.
All 3 of those are fantastic news sources.
Just as a thing, just specifically with the BBC too.
Yeah.
They don't have a responsibility to have ratings on BBC
because it's paid for by the government.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's sort of paid for, and then here's your budget for BBC. Yeah. We're just gonna let you be. See ya.
Yeah. No.
There's no
interference.
Report on this. It's not state-run media.
Right.
But it is. They don't have any obligation to advertisers or to ratings because.
Now they do run advertisements.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if we cut to this and then cut back to our regular programming, we don't have to think about how much money we're missing out on. The advertisers are going to be pissed. No. Well, screw you then. We don't need your money to make our budget.
Yeah.
Our budget is set by the government. So.
But I mean, if you watch CNN, which is the worst of this, with the breaking news scroll on everything.
Everything's breaking news. Yeah. Now. When did that happen?
But the reason why they do it is because if you turn on the TV and you see breaking news, then you're more likely to hang out for 10 minutes. And if you're more likely to hang out for 10 minutes, then you're more likely to hang out for a half hour. If I turn on CNN and they're just like, yeah, nothing really in the news today, I'm just like, all right.
But they want to get you for 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah.
If I can get you for 2 commercial breaks, we're good.
Right.
So everything's breaking news. But
everything is is this the end of everything? Everything is sensationalized. And
another thing I realized, Americans are pussies. If there was another attack on American soil. Oh, I'm sorry. Another attack that wasn't carried out by an extremist Christian, white, radicalized man. Because we got plenty of those, but we don't seem to be addressing that particular problem.
Yeah.
But let's say we had another Islamically motivated, an Islamic extremist.
Gotcha. We had an Islamic extremist blowing up an abortion clinic.
Right. No, because they don't care about abortion clinics.
Oh, they don't count. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
It's only the white radicalized Christians who care about the abortion clinics.
Yeah.
So, let's say that
what the hell kind of terrorist attack would there be?
Let's say that they would blow up a mosque. Okay, wait, no. That again.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
That's the white Christian guys. Let's say that they pushed a transgender person onto a train. Okay, wait, no, that was also a white Christian guy.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess it could go either way. You never know.
No, because they're actually pretty tolerant about not in their home country, but everywhere else. Like, but let's just say for whatever reasons they decided to run people down in a truck and then stab a bunch of people. For whatever reason, America would lose its damn mind. We would go on lockdown. The travel ban would be immediately implemented. Just basically, we as a society would shit our pants and then go cry in the corner.
And that is exactly what they want to have happen.
Right.
That's
the point.
Yeah. When 9/11 happened and America rallied around and said this isn't going to change anything except for how much we invested into the military.
And how much I get groped by a dude at the TSA. Yeah, that also. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I can't buy fertilizer for my garden more than one bag at a time. Also,
or I can't be drinking a Coke going into the airport and expect to have it prior to getting on the plane.
No, you just have to finish it before security.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, I can't
take my spray-on deodorant on trips with me. I can't take shampoo more than 3 ounces.
I can't tell Rachel she's got to pack the burger cookies in her bag because I can't bring food on with me.
Because I'm proud to be an American.
No, hold on, real quick, because this is important to me.
Go ahead.
I would argue that Trump, people keep talking about the potential of Trump being in charge under another domestic terrorist attack.
Yeah.
And I'm going to argue that is, I imagine that terrorists are trying to figure out some sort of way to do this.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because he is just going to explode in the most unrelenting way possible.
Yeah. He's going to kill children and women all across the Middle East, just wherever he feels.
Not even that. The press conferences that he will use to self-aggrandize some stupid thing that he read somewhere. Like
Breitbart called for the internment of Muslims.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure will be at number 1 on his list of like, listen, we've done it before in times of war. We're at war. We need to do it again.
Something tells me that even Steve Bannon is like standing back going like, let's just not touch this one right away.
Yeah.
Let's just see how this plays a little bit in the Breitbarts before we comment on it.
We don't need a hot take on this one, Donnie. Yeah. Let's just hold off.
Yeah. But because this could just go a little bit too far. I mean, I don't want to get us in real trouble.
But when
fake trouble, fake news trouble.
When a bomb went off in Boston,
yeah.
and people started saying the names of the alleged bombers, and everyone was like, Muslims. Then it was like government shutting down the city, no knock searches, no search warrants, just police state in Boston.
Yeah.
And if we had a 9/11 type event again, where there was a national emergency and people were like, nationwide, we are searching for, there might be another event. I don't know if you remember the day of it. It was like, oh, there's a plane headed for City Hall in LA, and like this is going to be going on all day. They're just going to start wrecking planes into buildings all day. If that happened, we would just shut down the entire nation and we would all stay in our houses and we would all just sit and be scared. Meanwhile, in London, 1 week after the Manchester attack, everyone shows up at another concert. Screw them. No, we're not going to let them. Not going to let them win. So you're going to throw a benefit concert. I'm buying a ticket and I'm coming.
Yeah.
The morning after the third attack in 3 months in London, and people are going out for brunch.
Yeah.
We saw a news story where the guy's like, yeah, no, I ran out on a tab last night, so I felt like I had to
come back and pay the staff.
Yeah, come on. But these are also the people who survived the Blitz. The Nazis bombed the shit out of them for an entire summer, and they just said, all right, well, I guess we'll just have to build that building again. We don't have, as much as like we're number 1 and we're going to make America great again, we're doing the exact opposite. We're pussies. And as much as you make fun of the Brits and the French, especially, as much fun as we've made of the French, what did Macron do after the last attack? What did they do as a society? Just like, no, we're not going to live in fear. Absolutely not. We're going to go out. We're going to do the things that we usually do.
And also, I know this is going to be a very shorthand version of a very complicated issue.
Yeah.
But ways to make more terrorists. Number 1, kill their families, bomb their wives and children, stuff like that.
Episode 164 for discussion on that.
Another would be to sort of make massive changes to the way that you operate in response to it.
Right.
For instance, say that I beat you up.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to get back at me somehow. And then I see you posting Instagram videos of you getting all swole in the gym going like, I'm not going to let that Corey guy.
Right.
And then you start just beating up every white, fat, curly-haired kid that you see just like walking about the streets.
Yeah.
Then all the white, fat, curly-haired kids are going to be scared. You know, like that's the type of, like if you see a massive change, like and a narrative that's being built about how you're going to get retribution for this.
Nope.
Doesn't help because it just makes the argument of like, see, they're terrible. Look
at what they're doing. They're about to bomb us.
And I would make the argument that what Trump has been saying is probably worse for trying to keep there being less terrorists.
Yeah.
Because he is just he's poking them.
Yeah.
He's saying like, not in my house. But the best way to do it is just to avoid it. Like, you know, you want to see a lot of people stop committing horrible acts like shooting up your place of employment in Orlando.
Right, yeah.
Don't spend 8 hours of news coverage talking about the guy who did it.
Yep, because then the next guy's gonna
showing
be like,
his picture up on the...
Fuck these guys.
Yeah.
He killed his and
I don't care. I don't care if I die. All these people are shitheads. Like...
Yeah. And that guy got on TV. I want to be famous.
Yeah.
I can be famous too. Yeah, and none of the way that we deal with it makes sense at all. We change everything about ourselves. We report on it 24 hours, literally until the next bigger thing happens. It will be in the news.
Right.
But I just...
It's got to be
a society thing, though. It's got to be a society thing.
What I would really like is if, just generally speaking, news coverage went something like this. Here is what happened. We are going to follow the story for a little while until we have more information. So for the next hour, you know, it happened. The terrorist attack happens at 5. From 5 to 6 or maybe 7, depending on how things go, we're going to be following along with the news. And then as soon as we're done with, like, as soon as whatever the incident is over, we're going to start talking about why this happened, how we can stop it from happening again, what the political ramifications are that caused this to happen.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can move on with this together. Because there'd be nothing I'd like more than just having somebody who's really smart and intelligent about it going out and talking and saying like, no, what you don't understand is
so
we caused this by A, B, and C.
You're saying the president of the United States should
No,
go
I
out
said
there.
a smart person.
Yeah.
Did you... Are your ears broke?
No, because I'm thinking that in the end, though, that's who we should be relying on to do that. Not to make fun of the mayor of London by taking something he said out of context.
Right.
Not by talking about his own electoral victory and how that somehow relates to fighting terrorism.
Another thing. I never... when we talked about Manchester...
Yeah.
I specifically made a point of saying I'm not a big fan of Ariana Grande, but this has nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with my feelings about her or what she did or the show she put on or anything like that. This is an incident that happened there. This has nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
And we talked about the incident as it was. Trump tweets since the London incident are essentially like if I went on Twitter and started going like, I've told you from the beginning Ariana Grande's a shithead.
Yeah.
And I can't believe this is what you get for having some sexy slut up on stage. And it's just like, no. I'm just trying to push my own agenda in favor of like a terrorist attack. I'm using the platform of a terrorist attack to push my own stupid agenda.
Right.
No, that's not what this is about.
Well, also talking about pushing an agenda, some late breaking news, something we wouldn't be able to talk about had we recorded on Saturday, but we can because we talked today. Yesterday it came out that it looks like the Kingdom of... Now you're going to throw me off. The Kingdom of Qatar in the Middle East on the Arabian Peninsula may be funding terrorism just worldwide. Apparently, the Saudis got some information that said that they were funding, although they were participating in the war in Yemen or against the Yemeni rebels, they were also funding the Yemeni rebels. And as it unravels, we may learn that they are also funding ISIS and these underground independence movements all across the Middle East.
Right.
And in response, the Saudis and basically all 9 kingdoms of the Middle East cut ties with Qatar.
Yeah.
Who immediately then started to formalize relations with Iran.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Because the Middle East is tough. And I imagine most people...
Thanks, Jared Kushner.
The Middle East is tough. And I imagine that most people who listen, know the major players.
Sure.
The Iraq, the Saudi Arabia, Egypt,
right.
Those types of countries. May not be aware of Qatar.
Okay.
What would your in a nutshell description of Qatar's place in the Middle East be? Like over the, it doesn't have to be in depth. But
first, I will describe very briefly Qatar to you.
Yes.
I want you to imagine a movie you saw in the 1990s, maybe early 2000s, about the future. Just not dystopian, like an awesome future. Like Star Trek, the first Star Trek movie that was made in like 1993 when it showed San Francisco at the time of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Now just imagine that instead of green, it's just all sand. But the buildings are still there, it's just all sand.
Right.
That's Qatar. That's basically what it is. It's a super modern society, modern in that they build really great buildings and they have all these investments in public works and all that.
Like Dubai.
It's like Dubai, but I would say even they don't go for like tall things. They're not trying to break records. They are doing things like actually helping people.
Well, it certainly helps when you're using slave labor for most of your building projects.
They do that. But Qatar is a small nation. It's on an island. I do believe it also has part of the mainland in the Persian Gulf. So if you can picture in your mind the Persian Gulf where we had the war, it looks a lot like a sock. Like when your sock pulls off inside your shoe and then you take it out and like you got your heel in the ankle and then there's the long sock holding off. That's the Persian Gulf. And Qatar is down near the heel there. Its only land neighbor is Saudi Arabia. And then there's also the United Arab Emirates in the area, Oman, Yemen. Across the Gulf of Aden is Iran. There's also Iraq up at the top, Kuwait. And all of these are little fiefdoms that the British said, hey, you know what? We don't feel like controlling this anymore. So you're a tribe and you're a tribe and you're a tribe and you're a tribe, and we're just going to draw some lines, and that's your country now. And give it to the king and make him a sheik or shah, depending on how you look at it. But very wealthy. They have a lot of oil wealth, but they haven't been a big player in international relations. Saudi Arabia drives like OPEC and the other groups of Middle Eastern countries. And that's why
Qataris.
They're not from Qatar. They're from Qatar. But
Qataris.
Why they theoretically, if this is true, would have funded these kind of campaigns. Because it's a way for you to prick your neighbor and have them bleed out by, death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you, but not having suffered through these things, can in a way come out on top. You still get the protection of the United States, which basically all the Middle Eastern countries have, but you don't have to spend the money that Saudi Arabia just spent, the $100 billion on weapons, because you're not fighting a war against the rebels in Yemen, and you're not worried about internal strife. Everything's peaceful here. We're all good. And that's because you're actually spending money to try and overthrow by supporting the rebels in other places. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It may have no impact. But it's never good. Iran is looking for allies.
I don't like the idea of a country trying to up their profile by becoming a merry mischief maker throughout the Middle East. Well, this does not. That's
the definition of Iran, though. That's what Iran has done.
Oh, I know, and I'm not in favor of what Iran has been doing. I'm just saying, and I'm not in favor of any I know that everybody wants to get involved in the Middle East to try and fix it. But the problem is that I think that they need to sort of work on this themselves. The only way that this is going to... I've always felt, and maybe it's just because I'm stupid, but I always felt that the worst thing for the Middle East is when all these countries get involved and it becomes like World War II or World War I when everyone gets involved and everyone else's because we have alliances and allegiances.
It's not about country. It's about us and
and there's Syria and Russia and like all these connections. And because one country does this and another country does this, like, and it's hard enough to explain to somebody how the inner struggles of Middle Eastern countries affects or like who's in the right or who's in the wrong in a Syrian resistance versus Assad and what happens with ISIS. Iraq and ISIS and the Kurds and the Shiites and like it's hard to if I said who's right, the Kurds, is that the one I should be following, and you're just like, oh god, well no, it's not.
Yes,
but really. It's not that easy because they have problems too, but it's better than the alternative. Well, what are the alternatives? No, it's.
I will tell you this.
Just let them. I would say not build. I mean, like sort of
build
just
a
like
wall,
build
right
a wall
in the middle.
Build a wall. Just surround all of Middle East. Let them figure it out.
No, but I will say this just to be clear. If you're going to support the YPK, it's always a good idea. The Kurds have been fighting for their own country for a long time since they were first genocided by the Turks. Turks have a lot of genocide in their history. And when Iraq fell, it was a chance to create a Kurdish state, a Shia state, and a Shiite state. And they didn't do that. They said, hey, we can keep all these together again, and it's not working. But always back to Kurds because they've been very oppressed people. And they have really hot snipers who kill a lot of people in ISIS. So that's never a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I do want to say one thing. I want to say hi to Katie, who's watching us all the way from Hawaii. And I love how her complaint is finally someone does something that I can hear live. # Hawaii problems. Listen, if that's the only problem you got living in Hawaii, I'm sorry about your life. # first world problems. I just walked out my door and it was a perfect 80 degrees with no humidity, and I went to the beach today and I ate some great seafood, but nobody does anything I can watch on the internet live. Oh, I better just go back to the States. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Like, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I wish I was in Hawaii right now.
So, I think from generally what
I'd watch Oriole games at 10 o'clock in the morning
just to be in Hawaii.
Just to be in Hawaii.
Yeah. I think your general policy is that you think we should all pull out of the Middle East.
I feel like there can be a general understanding by the top nations of the world.
Yeah. Let them fix it.
Right. We'll be here. We're going to keep on top of it. We will, if needed, come in and like help negotiate things or do peaceful processes to try and bring people together. But we will not bomb people. We will not intervene militarily in conflicts that have nothing to do with us.
We're going to pull out.
Yes.
Okay. Now, something else that happened.
But pulling out also means like I'm going to walk away from this and never look at it again kind of. And I don't want to insinuate that. I want to insinuate let us not fight their wars based off of the information that we have that changes every 4 or 8 years.
Because the point I was going to make is that I do believe we should pull out of the Middle East in the same way that I wish 46 years ago an older Mr. Trump had just pulled out. Now, I don't mean walk away from his wife. I just mean on that particular occasion, you pull out and you say, maybe not tonight, sweetheart. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then we could have avoided the now elder Trump, but the younger Trump at that point, ever being born and being alive to.
You meant in 1946.
In 1946.
Yeah, you said 46 years ago.
Oh, yes, in 1946.
Yeah. I was a little confused. I was just like, are we talking about Donald Trump Jr.? What did he do? What did he do now?
So he could have pulled out, so we could have avoided having a president who would pull us out of the Paris Agreement, which he chose to do on Thursday.
Yes.
Now, let me just say, it's not that easy to pull out of the Paris Agreement. Now, Trump doesn't apparently know this, but you can't. It's not like Michael Scott on The Office where he just walks out of his office. He's like, I declare bankruptcy. Yeah. And then you have to be like, Michael, you can't just come out and say that. Yeah. I didn't say it. I declared it.
Right.
No, it's very complex. You can't. It's a legally binding agreement. You can't just pull yourself out of it. But he thinks he's going to do that. He also thinks he's going to get Mexico to pay for a wall. He thinks that he's going to repeal and replace Obamacare. He thinks that he's going to get a Muslim ban. none of that has really worked out thus far.
No, and in fact, many would argue that his being involved in any of it has made the chances of it happening worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
His involvement in trying to get a wall built has made it harder for a wall to get built. And his his saying that Mexico is going to pay for it has made it harder for Mexico to pay for it.
Yeah. Him trying to fix healthcare made it worse.
Yeah. Anytime he talks and expresses his opinions, it just makes it more difficult. And by the way, I know, the Supreme Court doesn't collectively just get on Twitter, but there is a aspect of life that just sort of falls into people's laps.
Yeah.
And if you're constantly talking about, like how I wish this pussy version of the travel ban wasn't being the one in front of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make it
seem like less of a Muslim ban.
Right.
Yeah. When you call it a Muslim ban.
Let's go back to Freddie Gray real quick. Let's just say, for instance, that Michael Schatzo had a press conference after one of the days in court. And it was just like, oh, Judge Williams won't do that. He's a pussy. You think Judge Williams isn't eventually going to hear about this?
No, why would he?
Do you think that he's not going to eventually figure out some way to make your life a living hell because you said this?
Well, and the great thing about arguments...
And though technically his job as a judge is supposed to be independent and separated from this, when you put your shit out in public...
Here's the difference, though. If you say that during the trial, it's one thing. They're saying it before arguments, which means that the defenders, the ones who are trying to overturn the ban or to not let the ban go into effect, they can cite his tweets in their argument to say, so here's what the president had to say. It's a pussy version. It's not even right. It is a Muslim ban, and we need to ban these dangerous people from coming in. And that's the argument right there. I don't have to say anything else.
You want to know another one, too, that doesn't help their argument a lot? When he had initially brought out the first Muslim ban, the more less pussified one, he said, this is temporary. This is just a temporary 90-day ban until we can figure out what's going on.
Right.
It's been 100 days since he made that announcement.
Didn't do anything.
I'm saying, if something was happening in these 90 days, then I imagined I would have heard about it.
Well, no, there was several attacks on Americans in the last 90 days.
In other countries?
No. Right here at home.
Oh.
Yeah.
From what countries were the attackers from?
If we could stop if we're going to build a wall, I say we just build it right along the Tennessee River Valley and then down the Mississippi, because they're all crazy-ass, Southern, radical, white, Christian Nazis. That's who's dangerous. It's not anyone from any other country.
Technically, they don't associate as Nazis. They're...
Oh, I'm sorry. They're alt-righters.
Or are they nationalists?
Gotcha.
Cucks.
Yeah, you cucks. But no, and it's if you had 90 days, even though it wasn't in effect, you could have started doing these policies, even though we knew they were coming in. That's fine. Yeah. Set something up, but you've done nothing. And if it wasn't just about banning a certain religion, then you would do something.
Yeah.
It's not about making America safer. You're not stopping America from being these dangerous Christian terrorists who are right here and homegrown, and we're not figuring out what to do about them. So what's the point? It's clearly just to keep out a certain type of person, and not because they're dangerous. I argue it's only because you said you would do it on the campaign. Yeah. And you're like 0 for 19 at this point. And
on things you said you do?
Yeah. You just need a win before the coach comes and puts you on the bench.
Yeah.
And the GOP voters...
Before you get spicered and good?
Yeah. They're about... The president himself is about to get spicered, which is not a good situation to be in, and he should know that.
Real quick, let's get back to Paris, because we've just been going off the rails a little bit here. I would like to... I had the opportunity... while this whole thing was going on, to actually see many different versions of the news being told on different networks at the time. CNN did their usual outrage, breaking news, world is over, Trump.
Right.
Yeah. MSNBC was doing their usual thing, which is the let's get somebody to talk to us about this for, like, we're dumb children for 30 minutes at a time.
Daniel Lord, who would defend the president if he took a shit on his desk. Yeah. So,
And then there's Fox News whose entire argument against the Paris Climate Agreement was that it didn't do anything, so why do we even care?
Right.
To which I would like to explain something. Jimmy Carter, when he was president, maybe the only substantial act he had was trying to broker some peace in the Middle East.
Yes. Camp David Accords.
Yeah. That agreement was not very... There wasn't a lot to it. There wasn't any kind of like, we're going to agree to do this or that or reduce arms or anything. But what it did was it brought two different sides that were perilously astray and brought them to the same room, brought them to the same table, and tried to connect them.
He got an Egyptian, a Palestinian, and an Israeli to shake hands and sit in a room together.
Yeah.
That's a win. At that point, that was a win.
Just doing that was a win.
By the way, a meeting that cost the Egyptian and the Israeli their lives within the next 5 years. Both of them were assassinated within 5 years.
Yeah.
And the only one who wasn't assassinated was Yasser Arafat, and that was mainly because they saw him as being inconsequential. The real discussion was between Egypt and Israel.
Yeah.
We got to invite the Palestinian guy, but we don't really care.
Yeah.
He's not here for part of the discussion.
Right.
So, yeah, it had no teeth, but it meant everything.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Paris is.
The fact that essentially every single country in the world agreed to something.
No, wait. Two of them didn't. All right?
That's why I said essentially every country.
What two didn't?
Wasn't it Saudi Arabia? Nope. Hold on. I know it's one in the Middle East.
Nope.
Nope.
North Korea was one.
Okay. Yeah. That's good company to be a part of.
They weren't invited to the discussion. So I'm going to take my ball and go home since you don't want me to play with you.
Yeah.
The second was Nicaragua.
Ah, that's right.
Now, why did Nicaragua not join Paris? They felt that it wasn't strong enough, and they refused to sign it if it didn't have some actual sanctions in it. So the parties that we have joined are North Korea, who wasn't invited to the discussion and therefore wouldn't sign it, and Nicaragua, who said, why are we signing a pointless document? Unless it has sanctions, we don't want any part of it. And the United States.
Yeah.
That's the three countries who aren't part of this. China and India, two countries we never thought would have agreements on controlling CO2 emissions.
Yeah.
Came to the table. China has affirmed that despite the fact that Trump's an idiot and he's going to try and break this agreement, they're going to continue by their to abide by the agreement.
Oh, and to hear all the leaders of the world talk about, listen, I understand you don't like that liberal Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
Him and his good looks and his health care. How dare he?
And his illegitimate offspring of Fidel Castro.
Yeah. The fact that almost every single world leader there is, regardless of where they stand on the spectrum, was horrified that this happened, should be your hint.
Do you know what I think of? Having come from Maryland, I haven't been there in a while, not as recently as Corey has, but I imagine it's just like when all of the car companies are switching to like Priuses and super fuel efficient cars, and the U.S. is the guy in the truck rolling coal on the highway, just like the big smokestacks out of the back of his car, or the back of his truck, just like wah wah. Wow, just blowing smoke up.
I do believe we
gasoline.
lost the live stream, but
yeah, the camera turned off.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Where's your camera plugged in?
Into the side. Just gonna do that.
The heck was that?
I don't know.
Things are making noise all over the apartment.
We have ghosts.
Is it possible the world's end? I mean, maybe we do have ghosts. Have you ever thought of that?
No.
This building did burn down before we moved in.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody was in it when it burned.
There was a homeless person. It's a homeless ghost.
Homeless ghost. Anywho.
Yeah. So it's a big deal that Trump is going to try and take us out of Paris. The good news is across the nation, states and cities, counties, they're all saying we are going to do our part to try and keep the U.S. on track to meet these emissions in 2020.
I would like to make an argument for climate change.
Okay.
And for the importance of being a part of a discussion on climate change.
Okay.
Even if you believe that it is complete bullshit and that it's not right and it's not real and everything like that.
Humans cannot impact the climate in that way.
Yes. I would like to make a counter argument. What if, just by chance, you were wrong and you had the opportunity to do something to make it better?
I'll be dead, so what do I care?
Well, yeah, but I'm sayit you have children, you have grandchildren, you have...
My money is all I need, and I need that right now.
If it would be minimal sacrifice and you have the chance of making a real difference, then I feel like I understand the people who are the super environmentalists who are going like, you need to stop doing this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, if we didn't do this, that, and the other, then it would cost our business $1 billion every year. Yeah. And there's no reliable substitute for what we're doing.
Yeah,
then I understand the argument of like, sod off, we're not going to do it. But
these minimal changes
that could have profound impacts, regardless of whether or not it's real or not.
Yeah. Well, my favorite cartoon is a bunch of scientists. The caption is like science meeting in 2150, and it's like one scientist. They're all like sitting around in like some kind of meeting, and one scientist stands up and is like yelling, "You mean we made a cleaner and greener planet for no reason?" And like the bottom of the caption is like, scientists figure out humans had no impact on climate change. Like, yeah, so you mean we're being more efficient, we are burning less, we're stretching our ability to use oil.
Yeah.
If we're going to rely on that, we create another extra 150 or 200 years of survival on it. We're doing all of these positive things, minimal impact, and if we are wrong, then we just have a cleaner planet.
Yeah.
If you're wrong and we hit the 2 degrees Celsius, the polar ice caps melt and everything that's less than 30 feet above sea level gets washed away.
Including New York and Seattle and Los Angeles and Florida and...
almost all of Italy.
Yeah. Baltimore's gone.
Like literally, you would
Boston.
You have to go inland to Frederick to talk about something that's higher than 30 feet above sea level. Because although certain points may be higher than 30 feet, the problem is your house then becomes an island as the water floods in and around, and now you have no way to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Except by boat, like we're Venetians.
Yeah. Screw Venice.
Yeah. And anybody who's traveled to the area, or
recently.
I don't know, Montenegro or Croatia. I'm looking right at you. You know
Brendan.
Who you are. Well, I'm also sending that out to Bill if Bill ever watches this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill, if your son
I don't think he's gotten past the beginning of the Paris climate change.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But if you are still listening to this and your son turns down a trip, call somebody else. That's all I'm saying.
I'm like a second son to you.
Like a second son. Come on. Anyway.
I mean, technically your second son isn't really a son. He's a robot. So...
Based on what I've seen on Snapchat,
a robot from Planet Brendan.
But so it's going to be a big deal. It's kind of like Brexit, though. These things aren't easy to get out of. It's going to take some time, and the real news is going to come up in a year when we're doing the steps.
Do you know when the actual first time we can legitimately pull out of the agreement is? By the way,
2020.
Yeah, but do you know when in 2020? No. November 5th, 2020.
Oh, hey.
You know what happens November 4th, 2020?
See, that's an election.
It's an election. That's the day that the election happens.
Oh, Fate, you are so funny sometimes. And speaking about Fate being funny, guess who's up next to testify in front of Congress?
Oh, I think it's everyone's favorite comedian, Jim Comey.
And Trump has said he's going to allow him to testify. He's not invoking privilege.
Thankfully.
Well, funny because I don't know that he can stop him from testifying.
Yeah. Now that he's a private citizen, I'm pretty sure he can just say whatever he wants.
If you had him doing his job, you could say no, you're not allowed to do that.
Here's the thing. I was talking to my mom about this, and I think it would be fun. Comey's never going to work in government again.
No.
Nor in law enforcement of any kind.
He could probably get a job in law enforcement.
He probably could, but he probably won't.
No.
Because what would he go down to? What would he do?
It's like the president running for governor. It's
or even less than that. Like it would be the president running for mayor.
Well, no, because he could get a job as like the head of Maryland State Police.
Yeah.
And that's basically the FBI for the state of Maryland. But I used to be in all of the states, and now I'm only in the
one state. Right.
I don't like that.
And I used to deal with international things, and now I only deal with what's going on in Maryland.
No, he would still deal with international. They have to send, the mayor and the governor on those international trips.
Oh, yes.
So there's protection details.
Right.
Yeah.
Catherine Pugh's got to go to Montenegro for 3 weeks. So
yeah. Or actually, she just went to Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic, somewhere.
Yeah.
First Vegas, and then somewhere in the Caribbean.
Right.
It's all business trips. It's all accounted for. We're writing it all off.
She was just seeing how the police force worked in Vegas.
Yeah. I hope so.
Nothing
Jesus.
else.
Maybe she took her advice. Catherine, if you're listening to this, please call into the podcast.
Kathy, we got news.
Anyway, yeah.
I would love it if him knowing that he's not going to be working in government of any sort or form anymore.
Yeah.
He just sits down at the table. He's just like, Jimmy's ready to roll. Let's do this. Like, literally anything you want to know. I don't care.
And then the single shot rings out.
In the halls of Congress,
yeah.
Jim Comey is assassinated.
He was killed by
Spicy.
Nunez or somebody else. Yeah. It's like, my career's already over, guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead, take me in. 6 months in a correctional facility in Connecticut. I could do that.
I would hope that Comey, every single time he's had to testify in front of Congress recently, he always starts with a nice groundbreaking announcement before he says he can't say anything more.
Right, yeah.
I would like, if nothing else, then he just comes in, he gives us the groundbreaking announcement, and then he goes, but I'm not the director of the FBI anymore, so what the fuck I care. Go ahead, serve it up.
Here's my groundbreaking announcement. Questions?
I know you... Listen, I don't want to just make the headline right now up front. I'd rather you just ask questions and I'll answer them honestly. I don't have a job right now, so I'm pretty free to just hang out here all day.
You guys want to do this 2, 3, 4 days? I got nothing going on, so you tell me. Actually, he does work for the government. He's getting those unemployment checks now. So.
True. Jim Comey goes into unemployment. It's like, you try and get a new job.
Well, I got this Congress thing to do, but after that, I'll look into it. Probably not in my field.
I've put in applications at McDonald's and Wendy's, but I haven't heard back yet. You got to try to get a job.
Like, all right, I'll work on it.
They'll do something.
Maybe I could write a book. So there was one other thing you wanted to talk about. So look forward, I think on Thursday.
Yeah, we don't really have anything to say right now. We just have to speculate as to what Comey would say. But my hope is that he just lets loose.
So turn to 166 this Saturday. We'll be going live this Saturday afternoon and hear our thoughts about what Comey said, hopefully over 2 days of testimony.
Yeah.
Oh, let's hope. But you had one other thing that you wanted to talk about.
Yes. Before we get out of here, between Kathy Griffin and Bill Maher, there's been a lot of conversation recently about freedom of speech and expression.
Yeah.
Which is protected to all Americans through the Constitution.
Well, through the Bill of Rights.
Yes. Well, in extension.
The first 10 amendments to the Constitution. Yes.
And I'd like to have a really serious conversation with everybody who's making that argument to say that it is not... You do have the protection of freedom of speech.
Yes.
You can say whatever you want.
Theoretically.
There's ones that are seriously frowned upon, like yelling fire in the movie theater and stuff like that.
Well, no, technically that's not protected speech. So that's not protected. But you could theoretically have any political opinion you want. Right. Which is why Nazis get to march with Nazi flags, and the Ku Klux Klan gets to march with their hoods on, and Antifa gets to march with their faces covered and their big, communist flags. And
yes.
We get to say what we want. Yes.
And I would say that's all true. I defend your right to say whatever you want, even if I disagree with it.
Yeah.
What you are not protected from is how people react to what you say.
Yes.
This is the part that I feel like everyone needs to have a serious conversation about, because it is when you have a press conference after a photo shoot where you have a decapitated Donald Trump in your hands and you're looking,
which was great, by the way.
You're not allowed to come out and say that my freedom of speech has been violated
No.
Because no, it hasn't. You had the ability to do it.
You did.
You did it, and now you're living with consequences, which is what happens when you do things.
That's totally different. Yeah.
And you need to react accordingly when people don't like the fact that, listen, I'm not a Trump fan by any sort.
I enjoy the cutting off of the heads.
I understand why people are upset. Let me put it that way. I didn't see it and go like, oh my, and like, faint or anything like that. But I also said, wow, that's going to cause a lot of trouble.
I laugh when I see that.
Cause a lot of unnecessary trouble. And when Bill Maher tells a really terrible joke on Real Time.
An unnecessary, terrible joke.
Right. Yes, he's a comedian. Yes, he's allowed to be a little bit more...
He's on HBO.
racy than and he's on HBO. He's allowed to do what he wants.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that Bill Maher was not censored. He was allowed to say what he said.
Yep.
And now he has to live with consequences.
And this is the important distinction. Listen, everyone on Facebook, just stop keying in your responses to us already and just listen.
How I wish the live stream was still up for the people up at 3 o'clock in the morning in Maryland.
The First Amendment protects you against retribution from the government for anything that you want to express. So that means that you can't be arrested for holding a political thought. It means that you theoretically can't be stopped from expressing that opinion. So it protects you but if you take the moment that you say something controversial, I'm not going to say anything. I had a couple things come to mind, but I'll not say anything. But let's just say
I was. Before we started the podcast, I was running through things I could say to push free speech, and then I just realized I'd just be in the same position as Kathy Griffin and Bill Maher, so I should probably not do anything.
So let's just say that at the moment in which you say something inflammatory, but which is your opinion, the government can do nothing to stop you from saying it, and then they can do nothing as retribution for you saying it afterwards. So long as it's only an expression and it doesn't fall into all of these other categories like inciting a riot or endangering the lives of others in the case of shouting fire in a crowded theater or making a threat against someone. None of those things. So as long as it doesn't fall into those exceptions, your speech is protected. However, your employer can tell you at the moment you take employment that we have a morality clause. And as part of this clause, whatever your personal feelings are about any sitting president, you're not allowed to express those publicly in a way that embarrasses the network.
Yeah.
Now, that is that's a precondition on your speech. And if the government did that, it would be illegal. But if your employer does it, you're agreeing to that.
Yes.
And then when they do the thing that they've promised that they're going to do, you can't say my free speech has been stomped on. Moreover, even if they didn't tell you that, and you do something so monumentally stupid as to compare yourself to a house slave when you're a white man who's a comedian on television who has his own show.
And millions upon millions of dollars that you get paid for having that show.
Yes. Then when there are consequences, you have to say, my freedom to express myself remain true. My freedom from retribution remain true. But there are other people who can punish me, and that's the punishment.
I would like to go one more. So this is one I heard from people once before.
Yeah.
My racist people in my life have said before, the black people are committing all the crimes, so why don't we just lock up all the black people?
Right.
I've heard that in many different versions.
In Dundalk, probably. So
across the world, across the country, there are people who have this opinion. Not the world.
I think you mean the country.
There are people across the country who spoke this opinion out loud.
Okay.
In my head, when I hear this, I say, "Wow, that's profoundly stupid. I hope you never have any kind of decision making rights
or children."
Yeah, or children or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I don't speak up.
Right.
Usually somebody will say that, and I'll just be like, I'll Billy Bush my way through the situation and just like, just walk away, and then never speak to them again. I guess I didn't Billy Bush it.
Well,
I didn't go like right on.
Like the French, you're a bit of a pussy. So anyway,
but I'm saying I
confront those people.
How dare you? I think that generally speaking, consequence should have more of an impact in modern day life, and we should be spending more time making consequences clear to people when they say something that bothers us.
Yes.
Or something that offends us in some way. I don't, you have to know where your line is. If I said that cupcakes are better than donuts.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the time to go like, I'm going to ruin your life.
Although some people,
fuck you,
especially on Twitter, would try. Yeah.
But I'm saying if everybody,
big donuts behind it. That's
if everybody was upset about it, then I would know not to comment on the great cupcake donut debate.
Unless you want to be controversial and cause problems on Facebook.
Right. That guy?
Yes.
But I think that every once in a while, something like this happens where, you have your Kathy Griffins or your Bill Mahers, and you are making it clear to other people, if you do something like this, then it will have a detrimental effect to your career, your life. Yes. And I only see good things coming from that, because having a leniency and the desire not to talk about it has only caused more troubles.
Yeah.
A lot of what we're dealing with Trump right now is because people were just casually laughing at him at the beginning when he was saying his things and not calling on him on it. And then you let it get too big.
Yeah.
And then it seems like if you're calling him on it and saying that this thing is disgusting and despicable, you are saying that about all the people who voted for him or all the people who go to his rallies. And I'm not saying that all the people who voted for Trump are terrible, but you are supporting somebody who has at certain points said terrible things and never been called on it.
Yep.
So I think the important thing, Kathy Griffin's already been punished to a degree. She lost her 1 day a year gig as CNN's New Year's host. No. I know. What am I ever going to do without that $150,000 that I made for one night's work?
First of all, that is fucking ridiculous. $150,000 for one night. God damn it. Anyway.
And, I don't know what will happen with Bill Maher. Maybe he will be punished somehow. I don't think he'll be fired.
No, he probably won't be fired.
I'm sure there will be people who are saying he should be fired.
I have a feeling that HBO is going to bring in their standards department, and it's going to be like, okay, so from now on, we're going to have to do a little editing on your show.
Yeah.
Or you can quit.
Well, there's a studio audience too. So, it's not like you would be able to get away with not saying...
Yeah, but your studio audience can't record it and put it on the internet.
No, but the studio audience can say, "Hey, Bill Maher just compared himself to a house slave."
Yeah, I guess it. I think that he probably should lose his job because people have lost their jobs for less.
Yeah.
And that's my comparison is if you're going to fire so and so for doing that, you should fire him for doing this.
I get the line. I guess is Bill Maher, because he had another example of this. Bill Maher was famously fired from his first show,
ABC,
Politically Incorrect.
Yeah.
Because he said that the terrorists were not cowards, that the terrorists were the brave ones, because they were willing to give up their lives for what they believed and fly the planes into the buildings.
Yeah. It's a little bit controversial back in 2001.
It was a controversial statement. He has every right to say it.
Yep.
As illustrated by the freedom of speech.
Yep.
And expression. And he faced consequences for it. I would argue that statement was better than the one that he just said.
Yeah.
Is less offensive to me personally.
Yeah.
And what he was saying in the first statement as compared to what he was doing in the second was he was trying to show the other side of, listen, these guys made choices, and because of their choices and how strongly they believed in it.
He makes the same argument I make. Freedom fighter and terrorist are the same thing. It just depends whether or not you agree with them or not.
Right.
Like, if they, for the Syrian rebels that we are supporting, they're freedom fighters.
Right.
But to the Syrians and the Russians, they are terrorists.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of perspective. So that's arguable. And I don't think he should have been fired for that. It just was not a good climate to say that kind of thing in.
Right.
However, the new thing.
The new thing was a very bad joke that didn't need to be said and didn't have any kind of profound impact on. He wasn't making a thinly veiled political point of any sort. He was just
the guy said, "I'm going to put you in the field," and he said, "Oh no, I don't work in the field."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But here's what I will say though. In my own life personally, my previous career, despite all of the machinations I've made on this podcast, especially over the last 6 months, maybe closer to a year, over the last year, I had to work with police officers on an almost daily basis, and that meant controlling some of the things that I said and some of the things that I put out there. I was not, although people probably remember me saying things and like getting in trouble for things or getting in trouble for things, it was not nearly as extreme as it was the moment that I stopped working at a law office and stopped working with the police on a daily basis and stopped all that, because then I knew, although I have the freedom to say all of these things, and I can get no repercussions from the government for these things, like the cops, as angry as they are, cannot arrest me for saying
something.
Fuck the police.
Yeah.
All cops are bastards, and dismantle the police force, and the police state is inherently racist. I can say all of those things, and they can't arrest me for it. They can make my life hell, which they try to do, but they can't arrest me for it. But my boss, knowing that we have to interact with the police on a daily basis, could say, listen, I'm not going to have you, you're not going to be able to work here anymore. That has nothing to do with suppressing my thought, but I had to make the choice. Do I say what I really believe, or do I water it down a little bit and keep my job? And I chose to water it down and keep my job. And the moment that I didn't have to water it down anymore, I think check out episode 159. I think that's the one where I went on a bit of a crazy rant. But yeah, it's about knowing that you have to have consequences. Bill Maher knew when he said the thing about terrorists in 2001, there probably were going to be consequences.
Yeah.
He should have known when he said the thing this year that there were going to be consequences. Kathy Griffin, I knew there was going to be consequences.
There's no way that you have that photo shoot and you don't think, could this possibly come back on me in some sort of a negative way?
She made a bet. She said, this may have some blowback from flyover country, but my people here on the West Coast and on the East Coast, they're going to like this.
I think she thought the people who are going to be offended by this are never coming to my shows anyway.
Exactly right.
The people who will like this are the ones who are always coming to my shows.
Yes.
And I'm not really I'm going to hear about it, but it's not going to negative affect me in a serious way.
It probably won't.
Yeah.
People will buy her stuff to burn it.
She might, and not only that, she might have a show at the Hollywood Bowl and sell it out.
And she wouldn't
which she wouldn't have done if she hadn't done this, because
Topeka's going to be a little slim. Topeka, Atlanta, they're going to be a little slim.
Yeah.
But the Hollywood Bowl, Madison Square Garden, you're sold out.
Yeah.
And in the end, she lost her 1 day a year job. And let's say she does make $150,000, which makes me physically ill that she makes $150,000. We're talking on TV on New Year's Eve. She could make up for that by doing 2 shows at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
That would have never sold out, and now both will sell out, and then tickets will go skyrocketing on wherever people buy Kathy Griffin tickets on the black market. So it's a bet, and the problem for her is, though, when
I was gonna in my head, you know what? Here's the thing, not in defense of Bill Maher, but in my head, as you were talking about this, I thought of a really bad joke.
Okay, don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it, but I'm saying, like,
I'm the only one allowed to say really super bad things on this podcast.
In my head, I was just like, this could be funny, and then I thought about it, and I was like, better not test it. Better not put it out in the universe and just
to see what happens.
Yeah,
no. But yeah, and the thing that Kathy's gonna have to worry about is she won't be on the road forever. And she's going to get an idea for a TV show at some point.
Yeah.
Michael Richards, I'm sure, has had some fantastic show ideas in the last 10 years. But the video will always exist of him in the club.
Yeah.
And anytime that he has a meeting with anyone anywhere, as soon as he leaves the room, they're going to be like, Michael, that's great. We're going to be in touch. Yeah, great, thanks. But the video, right?
Yeah.
Like the club. We all still
we can't be the one who gives Michael Richards his first job on television since...
Right. And Kathy's going to find herself in the same way. It's like, listen, she may not need the people in flyover country for her shows, but our affiliates are not going to pick up her show.
Right.
And we can't lose the affiliates, and we can't have them losing their advertising dollars if they do pick it up. So, no, we can't have her show. We can't even have her on any of our shows that we already have.
Right.
So she's sunk, except for the Kathy Griffin show on Bravo.
Which hasn't been around for like 5 years.
Yeah,
so.
But theoretically, that the cable on a network that's really only for the coasts, you know what I mean? Like maybe that would work, but otherwise she's not gonna get. It's just gonna be her performing. So enjoy the road, Kathy. I'm sure that'll be worthwhile.
You know where free speech is always encouraged.
Where's that?
OhTheAnthem.com. Corey at OhTheAnthem.com. Oh, the Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com where you can find links to my political blog where there is plenty of free speech, foundingthefuture.us, the news website, and the books which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rob's books. I don't have them in my hand because I didn't think about it.
Bitch. But yes, so.
And sorry that the live stream seemed to cut out early. I don't know
who's up at 3:30 in the morning watching, but
this is all available on ohtheanthem.com as it usually is.
And we'll be back on Saturday with a new live episode 166 on Saturday, so make sure you check that out. And in the meantime, on Thursday, look for a new episode of The Dirty Shore Underground. New episode will be out on Thursday, so look for that. And hopefully, Colin and Brandon, there'll be a new episode of the Anthem Alliance podcast out this week, or, whenever it happens. We'll see. And you can get that at anthemalliancepodcast.com. Make sure you're following all of the Oh The Anthem brands at Oh The Anthem, at Anthem Alliance, and at DSUG on all your social networks, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yeah. Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you are listening to the Oh The Anthem podcast, part of the Oh The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
All right. So you want to hear that really saucy joke now? Absolutely. The one that was going to get me in a lot of trouble?
Yeah.
All right. So the place where you could buy Kathy Griffin tickets was a place called